go. Okay. Well, I'll hit my intro in just a bit here. Before I start talking, so you can just watch for that graphic if that's easy. All right. Thanks, Tim. At the bottom. No. What? Yeah. So the graphic and the music will start at the same time. The music goes for about 15 seconds before I start talking on the intro, which gives you 12 or 15 seconds to actually get it on. You know what I mean? I should have thought it out. So the JV team of the JV girls from Rich won the first two sets easily, and they were ahead by like 10 points in the third set. And Tabiona came back and won. So it's not going to end quite as quickly as I thought it was going to. So, do you want me to call you back in 10 minutes, or do you want to just watch for it, or how do you want to do it? I'm probably not going to go on for 5 or 10 minutes. Okay. Well, let's just leave the stream going online. That's not going to hurt anything. I will call you back in about 5 or 10 minutes. All right. Thanks. We're dropping more frames than I would like to see. I don't know why, because the speed is so good. I just upped so on this broadcast, remember when we were messing with it and we were dropping a lot of frames and then we changed the bit rate to 700? I think what that does, what that does is it increases the buffer. 700. Well, I think just if we're dropping, I think 350 is a good place to start. But if we're dropping frames and you go up to 700, it takes that place on a little bit, but it creates a buffer, so I think you don't drop it many. I mean, we had dropped 1,260 frames over. We were at 1261 when I just looked at this, and that had been going for 105. We haven't dropped it. I'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, if you go in the broadcast button and click on the YouTube, you can bump that. That's the only thing you can change on that
Testing, check.
Gracie Rhodes, Lazenby, Kennedy, Lazenby, Gracie Rhodes, McCall Giles. 15 is Gentry Barnett. 15, Gentry Barnett. 15, Barnett. Kennedy Lazenby, McCall Giles, Gracie Rhodes. 15 is Barnett. 15 is Barnett. Barnett 15, Gentry Barnett. 15 is Wagner, Mackenzie Wagner, 17. 17, and here's Grohl with the big hit, but in the net. And we're tied at 15. Oh. This one coming down to the wire. Barnett is 15, Wagner is 17, Jenkins is 20. Barnett is 15, Wagner is 17, Jenkins is 20. Fired up, man. Oh my goodness. Barnett, 15. Wagner, 17. Jenkins, 20. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's it. No.
Big O Tires of Evanston presents Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 with video online at kadqradio.com. Today's match is brought to you by these Rebel supporting businesses and individuals. Cowboy Motor Company, save a horse, buy from Cowboy. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Castle Rock Chevrolet, we are Chevrolet. Wyoming Dental Specialists and Rocky Mountain Care, simply the best care. Today's starting lineups are brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. The beginning serve of each set is brought to you by The Station in Randolph, and your scoreboard sponsor for today's broadcast is You Win a Title. And now it's time for a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Sports on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at kadqradio.com.
Good afternoon and welcome to Tabiona High School, the home of the Tigers, as the Rich Rebels here taking on the Tabiona Tigers in region play today. We've apologized for the mix-up in scheduling. We were unaware that the Tabiona Tigers came up with a freshman-sophomore squad for today's match, and we did not get updated on the fact that there was the freshman match at 11 o'clock. The JVs played at 12 o'clock or 12:15. Varsity match is coming up here in just a few minutes, and it's Rich Rebels against the Tabiona Tigers. Now, in the freshman match, the Rebels won in 3 straight, 25-9, 25-10, and 15-3. JV match sure ended up being a barn burner. The Rebels won in 4. They won 3-1, 25-15, 25-15, and then they were ahead by 9 points in the third set before Tabiona came back and won 16-14, but the Rebels won 17-16 in the fourth set in that JV match to win, and Rebels 2-0 here at Tabiona today in the freshman and JV matches. Now, the varsity match is coming up. These two teams met not too long ago here on, they're at Rich High School. And we had the match for you here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. And in that match, it was really not much of a competition. The Lady Rebels really took care of business against Altamont, and that was an Altamont team. At that time, they were 8-1. They were 3-0 in the region. And since then, they've continued to do well. They beat, after losing to Rich that a couple of weeks ago on September 27th, they went on to beat Altamont in 3 straight. They dominated at Altamont on the 4th of October, and that's the only match they've had in that time since they played Rich last. Now, Rich has been busy in the time since they played against Tabiona. Since then, they've played at Altamont, and they've also played at that tournament last weekend down at Richfield where the Rebels went 5-2, and Coach Stewart was hoping that her team would go at least 500. Well, they went much better than that. They had a great tournament on the first day. They beat North Sevier. They beat Millard. Both of those teams they beat in 2 sets, and they beat Panguitch in a tight one. 15-13 was the final in that 3rd set as the Rebels beat Panguitch last week. And then on the Saturday pool play, the Rebels beat South Sevier in 2 sets. They beat Beaver in 2 sets before being knocked into the console, before losing their first set 2-0 to Enterprise, and then being knocked out of the tournament by North St. Pete in a close one. The Rebels lost in the 3rd set 15-12. So the Rebels have been busy. They've had plenty of action, and Coach Stewart, we'll hear from her in just a little bit here on our pregame show as she'll talk about just what the Rebels, how she feels they're playing right now. She thinks they're peaking right now, and this is a perfect time to be peaking for the Rich High Lady Rebels. Game time is coming up. We're just a few minutes away. If you're watching online at KADQradio.com, you can see the Hot Shot Cam brought to you by Perry Brothers Trucking and Ellingford Brothers Incorporated. And the Rebels will be on the near side right here in front of us. We are on, I believe it's the east side of the gym, if I'm orientated correctly. No, the west side. The Tabiona Tigers are on the east side of the gym. So where we're looking from the perspective of the camera at KADQradio.com is west to east. So stay tuned. We got more coming up on our pregame show. We'll talk with Coach Tangi Lazenby of the Tabiona Tigers. We'll also talk with Coach Cindy Stewart of the Rich High Rebels. That's coming up in a bit on our Bear Lake Realty pregame coaches show. So stay tuned on a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and watch online at KADQradio.com.
Long lines and slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge at Cowboy Motor Company. Strength, honesty, and integrity. The Cowboy Way. Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
It's time for the pre-winter checkup special.
Big O Tires, we go the extra mile, revving up the service to make you smile. We're in the business of customer pleasing, all the right service for all the right reasons.
Receive an oil change, 22-point inspection, brake check, and tire rotation for just $59.99.
Extra miles, the way we go, we got you covered at Big O.
Big O Tires in Evanston, 607 Cheyenne Drive.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. Time now for the Cindy Stewart pregame coaches show brought to you by Gary McKee and Bear Lake Realty in Garden City. We'll be back and we'll talk with Coach Tangi Lazenby of the Tabiona Tigers. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ 98.3 FM and watch the game online at KADQradio.com.
Come see why the Bear Lake Valley has become one of the hottest real estate markets in Utah. The Reserve, Bear Lake's finest resort, is a masterfully planned recreation community nestled in the beautiful Bear Lake Valley. Luxurious mountain getaways overlooking the turquoise waters of Bear Lake. With lowering interest rates, it's a great time to buy. To find out how to make the Bear Lake Valley your next home or vacation getaway, contact BearLakeRealty.com. That's BearLakeRealty.com.
Coach, thank you for joining me for this afternoon's interview.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about that last time you came and played at Rich. How did you feel about that match a couple weeks ago?
I didn't feel like we played very well. We was a little flat-footed and played with a little bit of tense, but I think we're looking forward to a rematch with them.
What do you think coming into that match, you guys seemed like you were really on a roll. You'd won a few matches in league play. You only lost, one match up to that point in the season. So what was it coming in against Rich what happened?
Oh, we just got up there, and they had a pretty good crowd, and being on Rich's home floor, I think, was nerve-wracking to the girls anyway, and they got up there, and they just couldn't pull it together very well. So we played well at times. It was just other times we didn't play so good.
I know this won't really help a whole lot, but Coach Cindy Stewart of the Rebels has told me several times over the course of the days leading up to that match and then after that match, she was just so impressed by how much your team has improved over the last few years.
Yeah, we have improved a lot. We actually owe a lot to her and her daughter, Sammy. They've helped us out in trying to make our region better. And, we try to improve on something new every day. And we've been working real hard this season, and it's got us to where we are so far. So we hope that it pays off in today's match with Rich. And we work hard on our serves and serve-receive every day. And we've changed our defense up a little bit to match up a little better with Rich. And we're hoping to see lots of good things out of our offense today as well.
Do you record the matches so that you can go back and watch game film kind of thing?
We do.
So you've been able to kind of analyze that, break it down a little, and see what you need to improve on, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I've analyzed it, and we've broke it down, and we're hoping that we improve a lot against Rich this time.
I see. Now, since you've played Rich, you've played only Altamont during the last couple of weeks. How did that go?
We got a good win over Altamont. We didn't play our best. We had a lot of serving errors over there, and we could have played much better, but a win's a win, and we'll take it.
Now, based on where you are in the season, you guys, your record is real impressive at this point. Do you feel like you're playing where you want to be coming up on the end of the year?
I do. We struggled for a couple of weeks, but we haven't had a game, and so that makes a big difference. But we're hoping that we've worked hard in practice, and we're ready to play the Rebels and see how we do against them. And, yeah, I'm real pleased with where we're at in this season. The girls have worked hard, and we're ready to wrap up our region games and get to state.
Are there any individuals that you've really been pleased with, how they've stepped up and played and improved this season?
We're a really well-rounded team this year, actually. We have two seniors that are really good leaders, Mackenzie Wagner and Gentry Barnick, and we're really going to miss them. Gentry's a good all-around smart player, and Mackenzie has a really awesome hit. So we're really going to miss them, too, but we're a young team. We still have lots of players, and we have some freshmen that are coming up that I'm excited about as well. So
looking at today's match against Rich, what things do you know that you need to do better than you did when you traveled to Rich?
Well, we know we need to serve-receive much better. We was not able to get very many hits off of their serves. They are hard servers, so we've worked on that. That's probably our biggest thing, and then just making sure that we're hitting at them and not just passing the ball back over the net to let them hit at us. So we've worked on that. We're just looking forward to it, so hopefully we've prepared enough.
Find out how Chevy trucks stack up against all of the other major brand name trucks in their class. Confirm what you know or surprise yourself. Just log on to CastleRockChevy.com. Right now you can drive any new Chevy truck off the lot for just 1% over factory invoice OAC, and ask about other rebates and offers that apply.
We're Castle Rock.
Like us on Facebook, Castle Rock Chevy in Evanston, CastleRockChevy.com.
Precious time cannot be recovered once lost, said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time driving extra miles when the dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth and want a full and perfect smile? Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is oral surgeon A.J. Stosich, inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307 877-789-5608. Save your precious time.
I'm here with Rich Lady Rebel head coach Cindy Stewart. And, Coach, how did this week of practice go for you guys?
It was kind of off and on. I was gone on Monday, and I let them have an hour off on yesterday to watch the boys' football. So it's kind of been not a strong practice week.
Is that okay with the matches you have coming up this weekend?
Yeah, we've had two. We haven't had one Saturday, one weekend off in October, and we knew we had this facing us, and that Richfield tournament was long and hard, so I thought we'd give them Monday off. And then this week is our whole region, and we started coming out here years ago because they weren't very strong competitively, and we could get them all picked up in one swoop. But this will be a good, fun, competitive weekend for them because all the teams are much improved.
You mentioned that Richfield tournament. Let's talk a little bit more about that. You told me last week you were hoping the team would go 500, and you did a lot better than that.
Yeah, we went 5-2. We were real thrilled with that, and I thought we were in both the two matches that beat us. It could have been either way, and the Penguins match could have went either way. We won that one, but I thought the Enterprise and Stampede game, we were in it both games, 23-25, 23-25 against Stampede, and then Enterprise same way. And Stampede was even a third game, 12-15. So I thought we could have gotten that one. So yeah, I was real pleased with our performance last weekend.
What I know you stress a lot passing, and were there other things that you were impressed the girls were doing at that tournament last weekend?
Yeah, mostly we did. We passed 56% as a team, and Cammie Lamborn passed 85, 83 one time, 75, 77, and usually our 60% are a goal. So our passing was extremely well, but we dug well too, and our serving was really, really well. So I thought we played. We kind of crossed the threshold, I thought, last weekend, so that was good for us.
Is that part of why you had a little bit easier week of practice, because you feel like things are starting to really come around?
Well, that and the fact that we're always gone every weekend, and we started in August, and we haven't had one day off, and we did team camp, and we've been going a long time without one break.
Now, Tabiona here today, you guys played them pretty well the last time when they traveled up to Rich. You guys won in 3. And their coach told me that she feels like they didn't play very well, but you've told me they're much improved. And what do you expect for today?
I think they'll come out on fire. I think that they were expecting a better performance up there for sure, and then I think maybe reality checked in with them too. But it's their home court, and it's always different on the road. And when we beat them so easily down there, you never know how our girls are mentally prepared for that. So with girls, 15-year-old girls, 16-year-old girls, you really do not know what you're going to get.
You're obviously hoping for some wins today and tomorrow, looking for that number 1 seed headed to the state tournament, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this will finish off our region swing, and then we pick up Mountain Crest and North Summit next week, and then we're done.
All right. Well, good luck today, Coach.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming up.
Yeah.
Thanks again to Lady Rebel head volleyball coach Cindy Stewart for that interview. This is the pregame coaches show brought to you by Bear Lake Realty in Garden City and Gary McKee. We're about 5 minutes away from today's opening serve, and we'll be back with the starting lineups and the beginning of today's match. This is the pregame show. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ 98.3 FM, and watch the game online at kadqradio.com. Throughout our lives, there are times we may need skilled rehabilitation and nursing care or home health and hospice care. Rocky Mountain Care has been providing these services since 1990. Our skilled staff and specialized programs will meet your loved one's needs. Our staff is dedicated to a high-quality outcome for each of our patients and residents. When you or someone you love needs these professional services, think of Rocky Mountain Care. Simply the best care. www.rmcare.com.
For over 100 years, Union Telephone has been providing phone service to small communities, places the big guys simply ignored. We were helping our neighbors stay connected to the rest of the country. Times have changed and technology has evolved. Union has been there the entire way. Today, we still keep people connected in more ways and places than ever before. Union Wireless, treating you like a neighbor, not a number.
Welcome back to the pregame show. This is Ryan Steinekert here at Tabiona High School, where the Rich Lady Rebels are getting set to take on the Lady Tigers of Tabiona. And these two teams, boy, they've met plenty of times in the past years, and the Rebels have won almost all of those, at least the records that I could find, Rebels have not lost to Tabiona going back about 10 or 12 years, and most of those wins have been 3-0 victories, and that's how it was earlier this season as well when these two teams met up against each other. The Rebels won in 3 straight sets, 25-12, 25-14, and 25-16. Tabiona kind of improved a little bit, little by little, as the matches went on, or as the sets went on, but the Rebels won in 3 straight, 3-0. Now, in that match, the JV team of the Rebels won in 3 straight as well, but here this afternoon, the Tabiona Lady Tigers came out fired up, and in the JV match, the Rebels just squeaked one out. Now, they did win 3-1. They won 25-15, 25-15 in the first 2 sets, and that's when Tabiona turned it on. They won the third set 16-14, and the Rebels just got by in the fourth set 17-16 to win that JV match. If you're watching online at KADQRadio.com, you see the Tabiona Tigers out there warming up, practicing their setting and hitting. And we're a few moments away from our tip-off here tonight, or here this afternoon at Tabiona High School. The Rich Lady Rebels and the Tabiona Lady Tigers getting ready to start things off here. And the first serve in a moment will be brought to you by the station in Randolph. We'll have starting lineups here in a bit, brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. Teams will line up on the back lines and practice their serving here for a couple of minutes. And while we're doing that, I'll update you again. The reason that we're starting so late is that we did not get the updated schedule from Rich High School that there was a varsity, or that there was a freshman match here today. And of course, if you ever look at the Rich School calendar at richschool.org, it just gives the start time of the first match. So on that calendar, it tells us that Rich Volleyball today is at Tabiona beginning at 11 o'clock. And the schedule that we were given said that there would be a varsity match at 11, and the JV at 11, and then the varsity at 12:15. But with the Tabiona Tigers adding a freshman squad to their team, they had the freshmen at 11 o'clock, the JV team at 12:15, and now the varsity scheduled for 1:30. They're going to start just a couple of minutes late here, as we're just past 1:30, but we're only a couple of minutes away from the opening serve, brought to you by the station in Randolph. Rebels will be here on our near side. Again, if you're watching online at KADQRadio.com, the Rebels are right down here at the bottom of the screen, serving away from you. And that is looking from west to east here at Tabiona High School in the gym. And Tigers coming in. They're 11-2 overall this season. They're 4-1 in the region. And, boy, they'd really like to get a win here over the Rebels. They've been working hard, and as you heard Coach Tangi Lazenby say in our pregame interview a few moments ago, she and the girls, she and her players were not real happy with the way they performed up at Rich when the Rebels won in that match in 3 straight, 3-0, or 3-0 in that match. And so they'd like to come out here with a little bit of fire underneath them, and if the JV match is any indication, they are fired up. They were really getting some intensity out there, and they made it a real close match. Rebels won in 3-1, but it was a close one for the Rebel JV squad. Well, if you're watching online at KADQRadio.com, you see the teams have left the floor or are leaving the floor, and you hear the Tabiona Tigers cheering as we get set for our starting lineups. Brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. You've been listening to the pregame show here at KADQ-FM 98.3 and online at KADQRadio.com. Make sure to stay tuned. Later today, we'll have more of our Rich Rebel volleyball here on KADQ as the Rebels play at Duchesne, and then they'll play against Union High School at Duchesne High School. And that's all coming up tonight, and you can tune in for our pregame beginning at 7 o'clock. I believe. Let me double check that schedule. As tonight, 6:45, we'll have pregame coverage starting, and then varsity at 7 o'clock. We're doing the Pledge of Allegiance now. And we're going to have our starting lineups here at Tabiona High School. It's senior night for the Tabiona Tigers, or senior afternoon, I guess. It's their last home match of the season. Looking at their schedule, they do have a couple of more matches. They'll be at Duchesne on the 22nd and then at Manila on the 25th, next Friday. But Wagner, or the seniors that they're honoring, that number 15 that just came out was Gentry Barnick. Number 17 there is Mackenzie Wagner. And I believe that's all the seniors on the team. Those two both starters for the Tabiona Lady Tigers. And congratulations to us, to them from us, to us. Congratulations to them from us. They've had a great season. As I mentioned, 11-2 overall. They've only lost 2 matches. One of those was against Union. That was actually at Union, who Rich will face later on tonight. Well, Max will have right here on KADQ and online at KADQradio.com. Their only other loss was to the Rich Rebels a couple of weeks ago. That was the 27th of September, and a 3-0 loss in that one. We are moments away from our beginning serve here today, brought to you by the station in Randolph. Rebels will be in the black uniforms with the white numbers, and they've got the blue Rebel across the chest. So if you're online at KADQradio.com, you see the Tabiona Tigers. The black shorts, they've got purple tops and white trim numbers. Numbers are black with the white outline. And you see the players now thanking their coach, Tangi Lazenby, their coaches, Tangi Lazenby and assistant coach Vera Potter and Tammy Rhodes, for all of their work this season. Now, it's a busy season. If you heard our pregame interview with Coach Stewart, she said she kind of gave her team a little bit of time off this week as they start early, and they really haven't had any breaks between then and now, when they started back in August with team camp and then practices starting and workouts and 2-a-days, daily doubles and those kind of things. And Tabiona, a similar schedule, plus all the summer ball, the club ball that they play throughout the summer. So it's a lot of work that goes into it by coaches and by players as well. We're moments away from your beginning serve, brought to you by the station in Randolph, and you've been listening to the pregame show here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. And our starting lineups here in a moment will be brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. Our beginning serve will be brought to you by the station in Randolph. If you missed it yesterday afternoon, the Rebel football team was in action against Altamont. And the Rebel football team, boy, they had the running game working yesterday against the Altamont Longhorns. Rebels got a good, solid victory, 41-14 yesterday, and most of that was in the first half. Rebels led 35-7 at the half and cruised in the second half, third and fourth quarters. Did score one more time, but they really didn't even need that, and went on to win 41-14 yesterday. Now, the Rebel football team, with that victory, earned a first-round home playoff game November 1st. And so that was a big win yesterday for the Rich Rebels. They'll wrap up the regular season next Friday afternoon hosting Diamond Ranch, and we'll have that match for you right here on KADQ 98.3 FM Friday afternoon. Starting lineups now brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. And for the Rich Rebels, you see Cammie Lamborn, a senior, come out there. Number 3. Number 4, Reagan Lloyd, a junior. And Ellen Peart, a senior. Number 10. Number 14, Emily Hopkins, out on the floor. Hopkins, a sophomore. Done a nice job up there on the front. And she has that height that gives her that advantage up on the front row. Lilia Brown out there now, and she's also a sophomore. And number 20, Lilia Brown wearing number 20 today. Daniel Huffner, number 25, a senior. The sixth and final starter for the Lady Rebels. Brought to you, starting lineups brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. And now our starting lineups for the Tabiona Lady Tigers. And if you're watching online at KADQradio.com, you see McCall Giles, number 7. Giles is a freshman, their setter for the team. Number 11 is Kennedy Lazenby, a sophomore. Number 15 is Gentry Barnett, one of the 2 seniors on the squad. Number 17, also a senior, is Mackenzie Wagner. We'll have number 20, Jordanelle Jenkins, a junior. And the final starter is number 25, Gracie Rhodes for the Tabiona Tigers. And those starting lineups here today brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff.
In just a moment, our beginning serve will be brought to you by the station in Randolph. We've got a good crowd here today and a pretty good contingent of Rich Rebel fans down here on my right. If you're watching at KADQradio.com, that's the south side of the gym. And again, we're looking west to east from our vantage point up above the gym. We're on the west side, up high. And you can see in the background the Tabiona Tigers down there doing their cheer on the floor, and up back behind them is the stage. A lot of fans along that stage. There's a good group of fans here on the stands to the right side as well. And we are just about underway here at Tabiona High School, home of the Lady Tigers. And beginning serve brought to you by the station in Randolph, moments away. It looks like, I think it's going to be Tabiona serving to start this one, and that's based on Rebels lineup. Hopkin is in there when the Rebels receive. And since she's in there, and I see the ball goes over to the Tigers, and they will serve to start this one off. Here's Giles, a high serve. And Lloyd passes up front. They set it for Cammie Lamborn, and she hammers it. It's blocked clear to that north side wall, and the Rebels lead 1-0 on the Uinta scoreboard. That beginning serve brought to you by the station in Randolph, and now Danielle Huffner back to serve right here down on our right side. Serves away from us. It's a nice serve, and the Tigers will set it up. Here's the hit by Rhodes. Rebels are there as Lloyd goes down to dig it up. Now the pass to Lamborn. She'll hit it over. Now the Tigers will set it back up, and Huffner is there. Pass up front. Peart will set it up for Lamborn. Big hit on the angle. Goes high up into the rafters, bounces around a bit, comes down, and they'll continue to play it. Tigers get it over the net. Now the Rebels will set it up again for Lamborn. The push down the line into the corner is there, and the Rebels lead 2-0 on the Uinta scoreboard. And there's that court vision by Lamborn. As she went up to make that attack, she was looking back the other way and just served it, or passed it down that line. Bumped it down the line, and the Rebels get the point. Huffner's serve. The Tigers will set it up. Here's Rhodes with the hit. It's long, out of bounds, wide toward the Rebel bench on the north side, that left side, if you're watching at KADQradio.com. And the Rebels lead 3-0 on the Uinta scoreboard as Danielle Huffner comes back to serve. Silence in the gym as she serves this one away. The Tigers are there. They'll set it up again for Rhodes. Rhodes hit tipped at the line by the net by the Rebel blockers. Now Lamborn makes a nice athletic move to just get it over the net. Not a great set. Then hit down the line. Rebels are there. Lamborn passes across, and Peart will bump it over. Tigers right there. Bump it high. Now here's the set. They'll set it back for Wagner, then she'll just push it over. Now the Rebels will set it up for Lamborn. Hit to the back row. Lazenby off the arm and back toward the stage on that far side, the east side of the gym. Rebels get the point and lead 4-0 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels off to a good start here as Danielle Huffner goes back to serve. Huffner from the right side, serving straight away from us, and the pass is up high. Now the set toward the net, just a bump over the net for the Tigers. Rebels will set it up. Peart to Lamborn on the far left side. It's hit. Was it tipped? It went off the top of the net, and it was tipped by the Lady Tigers. So Lamborn gets the kill, and the Rebels lead 5-0 on the Uinta scoreboard. Huffner, the serve. This one long. Yep, they're going to let it go, and it is long. So the Tigers get their first point right there. And the Rebels lead now 5-1 on the Uinta scoreboard. First set here. Rebel freshman team and JV teams both won earlier this afternoon. And now back to serve is Gentry Barnick. Her serve is long. Rebels let it go. And Rich leads 6-1 on the Uinta scoreboard with Andy Cornea just checking in, coming back to serve now for the Rebels. Nice floater serve to the back row. Barnick passes. Not a great pass, and they'll just have to bump it over to keep it in the air. Rebels will set it up. Cornea for Lamborn here in the middle. Big hit, tipped at the line, and then it just dies to the floor. And the Rebels lead 7-1 on the Uinta scoreboard. Up front, Peart, Peterson, and Lamborn. Huffner, Lloyd, and Cornea in the back. Cornea's serve. Tigers will set it up and get the hit by Wagner. Rebels pass it back up. Cornea trying to just push it over on the set and couldn't get the dump to work. It hits the top of the set or the top of the net, drops to the floor, and the Rebels lead now 7-2 on the Uinta scoreboard. As going back to serve now is Jordanelle Jenkins, number 20, on the far left side. If you're watching online at KADQradio.com, Jenkins' serve just gets across the net. It tipped and rolled over the top, dives to the floor, and the Rebels lead is cut to 4, 7-3 on the Uinta scoreboard. As Jenkins will go back to serve once again for the Tabiona Lady Tigers. Rebels leading 7-3 in the first set. here at Tabiona. Here's the serve by Jenkins. Long, and not sure if Lloyd thought Huffner was going to get that or Huffner thought Lloyd was going to get it. Neither of them do. Huffner almost decided to play a little soccer there and kind of kicked it. But it hits the floor, and the Rebels' lead is cut to 3, 7-4 on the Uinta scoreboard. Here's Jenkins once again. The jump serve. This time Lloyd passes up front. Cornea will set it up for Peart coming in from the outside. Push over the blockers. 2 blockers were there. Now the Tigers will set it up. They try to just push it into the corner. Huffner dives to keep it in the air, and the Tigers will set it up. Now tipped at the net. Rebels set it up. Cornea to Peart. Peart the big hit toward the back row, and Barnack misplays it, shanks it toward the back onto the stage, and the Rebels get the side out leading 8-4 on the Uinta scoreboard, and Cammie Lamborn back to serve now. Lamborn, good strong serve. Giles passes up front. Now Lazenby will set it up. Big hit, and hammered home the kill for Mackenzie Wagner, and they got that good pass. That makes it 8-5 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels lead is down to 3. They led as much as 5-0. The Tigers are trying to claw their way back in, keep it close. Here's Cornea, the set for Lloyd. Lloyd's hit just hits this side of the net, rolls across the top and over down to the floor. And the Rebels lucky to get the point there, leading 9-5 on the Uinta scoreboard as Christina Peterson comes back to serve. Serve straight away, and you can see that that floater serve just kind of moving back and forth. The Tigers will set it up, the hit, and Peterson can't get underneath it, and the point will go to the Tigers. Rebels lead now 9-6 on the Uinta scoreboard as Brown will check in. And back to serve goes Wagner. Rebels pass goes right back over the net. Tigers will set it up, and a tip by Lazenby into the hole. Tigers will get the point, and it's a 2-point game, 9-7. Rebels with a narrow lead on the Uinta scoreboard here in the first set of this match. Here's Barnack again, or Wagner rather, the serve, and it's right down the line. Peart can't get to it. Shanks it back and to the wall, and it's a 1-point game, 9-8. Rebels with the slim lead on the Uinta scoreboard. There's Wagner. Peart will pass up front. Cornea will set for Peart, and the hit to the floor. Peart gets the kill, and the Rebels get that good pass with a good set, and that makes things happen. Rebels leading 10-8 on the Uinta scoreboard, and Peart will come back to serve now. There's Peart with the running jump serve. Just clears the net. Not a good pass toward the bench, but the Tigers will get it over in 3. They'll bump it up. Now Lamborn passes. Peart the set for Lloyd on that far left side. Tigers are there. Now they'll set it up. Here's the hit. No, the set was in the net. Hopkins went up and just tipped it back down. And the Rebels get the point, leading 11-8 on the Uinta scoreboard. This Tabiona team has some fire in them. They're keeping this one close. Here's Peart with the serve. Tigers will set it up. Barnack has it blocked by Huffner and Hopkins, but the Tigers keep it alive. Now Lamborn passes up front. Peart the back set for Hopkins. The tip over the net, and the Tigers are there. They'll set it up, and now Lazenby will just bump it over. Peart will set it up now for Huffner. Huffner the push, and the Tigers are there. They'll set it now for Barnack. Barnack the big hit. Rebel blockers are there. That's Huffner and Hopkins on that right side. And Rebels block it back to the floor and get the point, leading 12-8 on the Uinta scoreboard. Here's Peart once again to serve. Serve by Peart, skips across the top of the net. Tigers get underneath it. Nice job by Barnack going to the floor to keep it alive. They push over the net. Brown can't play it well, and the Rebels shank it back to the back wall right here in front of us, down below us, and it's 12-9 after that Tiger point on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels with a 3-point lead. Back to serve goes Lazenby. That's Kennedy Lazenby, number 11. Lamborn passes up front. Peart will set for Lloyd. Lloyd's push blocked by Jenkins, but blocked out of bounds. Rebels will get the point, and it's 13-9 on the Uinta scoreboard. See if the Rebels can go on a bit of a run here and pull out in front a little bit further. Here's Lloyd. Seems to be a pretty strong serving rotation for the Rebels. Huffner blocks the hit by Barnack. Now the Tigers hit it right back. Lamborn pushes it over on the second hit. Tigers will set it up, and a big hit by Barnack. It's up high for Brown, and Brown's pass back up front does not go back up front. It goes backwards, and the point will go to the Lady Tigers. And now they'll have the serve. McCall Giles, who started this match off serving, started this set with the serve. She's back around in the rotation. Lloyd's pass up front. Peart will set it for Huffner. Huffner, the hit, finds the seam between Giles and Kennedy Lazenby. Rebels get the point and lead 14-10 on the Winnetitle scoreboard. Peterson will check in, and Huffner will go back to serve. Peterson, Lamborn, and Hopkin up front, with Peart and Lloyd in the back row, along with Huffner serving. Here's the set. Barnack pushes it. Peart goes down to keep it alive. Now Lamborn just tips it over, almost like a hook shot down the line. And Rebels will get the point. That one right on the line. And it's 15-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. Lamborn, the blockers were coming in toward the middle of the court. She just hooked it to the sideline. Here's Huffner with the serve again, and the Tigers will set it up. Here's the hit by Rhodes. This one way long. Rebels let it go, and Rich leads 16-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. Huffner back to serve again for Rich High. We have a substitution, and checking in is number 23, Shaylee Ney, for the Tigers. Huffner serve to the back. Lazenby passes it up high. Now they'll set it up for Ney. Rebels are there. They'll set it up for Lamborn. Big hit, great dig by Wagner, and the Tigers will set it up. The hit by Ney blocked by Hopkins, but this side of the net it falls to the floor, and it's a point to the Lady Tigers. Rebels now up 16-11 on the Uinta scoreboard. May quickly checks back out, and Gracie Rhodes back in for the Rebels. Lloyd lets this one go. Boy, that was barely, almost like it almost touched her arm as she tried to get out of the way of that one. But she lets it go. It's long out of bounds, and the Rebels lead 17-11 as Cornea goes back to serve here right in front of us, serving away. Beautiful floater serve. Tough play. Lazenby passes it high, and now the set, and the Rebels are there. Cornea passes up high. Lamborn will set now for Peart. Peart the hit, tipped at the net by the blockers. Now Lazenby will pass back up front, and they'll get it over in 3. Lloyd will pass up front. Cornea sets it for Peart. Peart the big hit, but it's kept in the air by the Tigers, and they'll set it up front for Wagner. Wagner the tip. Nice job by Peterson to keep it alive, and then Lamborn somehow off her back foot hammers it home, and the Rebels lead 18-11 on the Uinta scoreboard. What a hit by Lamborn right there, and the Rebels up by 7. Timeout on the floor. We'll take a quick timeout as well and be back with the Rebels leading 18-11 on the Uinta scoreboard. And you're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ-FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
Long lines and slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge at Cowboy Motor Company. Strength, honesty, and integrity. The Cowboy way. Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ, FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. Rebels leading 18-11 on the Uinta scoreboard, and Andy Cornea serving for the Rebels. Goes to Lazenby. Lazenby pass up front. Good set. Here's the hit by Wagner. Wow. That looked about a foot long from where I'm standing, right up above here, but the line judge down there calls it in on the hit by Wagner. And, oh no, they say it was long. Now it's a little discussion. It was long, and the Rebels get the point. Lead 19-11. Cornea the serve again. Tigers will set it up. Lazenby just has to bump it over to keep it in the air. Now Cornea will set it up for Lamborn here. The push, oh boy. There is nothing you can do to defend that. 2 blockers right there in the middle, and the defense is not there as Lamborn just pushes it right down the net on the angle, and the Rebels lead 20-11 on the Uinta scoreboard. Here's Cornea again to Lazenby. She'll pass up front, and the set right in the net. Blockers are there for the Rebels as Wagner tries to hit it over, and the set was a bit low for her. She couldn't quite get to it in time. And in addition, the Rebel blockers were there and lead 21-11 on the Uinta scoreboard. Here's Cornea. Again, beautiful floater serve. And they'll set it up for Wagner. Rebels tip it at the blockers. Now Cornea will set it up for Peart. Big block. Their big hit. It's blocked right back to the Rebel bench. It was it was a big hit, and it's out of bounds off the Tigers. So the Rebels lead 22-11 on the Uinta scoreboard. Here's Cornea. Oh, my goodness, what a serve. The pass almost back over the net. Tigers will set it up, and it's hit long by Rhodes, but they're going to say the Rebels tipped it and give the point to the Tigers. So Rebels' lead is now 22-12 on the Uinta scoreboard. First set, Rebels with the lead here as Jordanelle Jenkins goes back to serve, the junior from the left side, serving straight toward us. Good, strong serve, and there she finds the seam between Lloyd and Lamborn. They both started to go for it, saw that the other was going for it, and they both backed off. And so it's 22-13 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels up by 9. Here's Rhodes, or Jenkins rather. Lamborn passes. Cornea will set it up. Here's the play. Lamborn coming in from the back row will push it, and the tip is shanked backwards by the Tigers, the bump, and the Rebels now lead 23-13 on the Uinta scoreboard as Lamborn goes back to serve. Try to put this one away with a couple of points here. Lamborn, the jump serve, and serves it into the net. I spoke too soon, and it's 23-14 on the Uinta scoreboard. After that point goes to the Lady Tigers, and Gracie Rhodes will go back to serve from straight away. Serving straight toward us here. And a nice floater serve makes it tough. Lamborn goes down, though, and Rebels will set it up for Peart, who's pushed toward the back row. Rhodes bumps it up high but backwards, and the Rebels have a set point here, leading 24-14 on the Uinta scoreboard as Lilia Brown checks in to serve for Rich High. Set point here. It's first set. Here's Brown set serve to the back row and misplayed by Wagner. Shanked back into the stage there on the west side of the east side of the gym, and the Rebels win the first set 25-14 on the Uinta scoreboard. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. Back with set number 2 in just a bit.
It's time for the pre-winter checkup special.
Big O Tires, we go the extra mile, revving up the service to make you smile. We're in the business of customer pleasing, all the right service for all the right reasons.
Receive an oil change, 22-point inspection, brake check, and tire rotation for just $59.99.
Extra miles, the way we go, we got you covered at Big O.
Big O Tires in Evanston, 607 Cheyenne Drive.
Find out how Chevy trucks stack up against all of the other major brand name trucks in their class. Confirm what you know or surprise yourself. Just log on to CastleRockChevy.com. Right now you can drive any new Chevy truck off the lot for just 1% over factory invoice OAC, and ask about other rebates and offers that apply.
We're Castle Rock.
Like us on Facebook, Castle Rock Chevy in Evanston, CastleRockChevy.com.
Precious time cannot be recovered once lost, said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time driving extra miles when the dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth or want a full and perfect smile? Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is endodontist Les Walker inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307-789-5608. Save your precious time.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. If you're watching online at KADQradio.com, you see the Rebels out there on the floor, ready to roll here in set number 2. Rebels took the first set 25-14, and it was a close one. Now, the Rebels took an early lead 5-0, but then the Tigers fought back into it, and it was real close, 9-8. As the Tigers made it real close, Rebels still led 9-8, and then Rebels went on a big run from that point on. They just kind of pulled away after that. After leading by just 9-8, Rebels went on a 16-6 run and got the victory in that match, in that first set, I should say. And, you know, the Tigers were kind of scoring. They'd score a point here and there throughout that big run by the Rebels, but it wasn't much. They'd never get more than a point. at a time, and then the Rebels would get the side out and get it right back and score a few more points. So the Rebels up 1-0 in this match as we head for set number 2. And the beginning serve of this set is brought to you by the station in Randolph. Ellen Peart will serve, and serving straight toward us. If you're watching online, you just saw diving is Mackenzie Wagner, but she shanks it into the stands on the south side of the gym here on our right side, and the Rebels lead 1-0 on the Winnetah scoreboard. Here's Peart once again. She's going to come to Jenkins down the sideline. Lazenby sets it up. Now Jenkins will get the hit, hits it long, and it's out of bounds. Rebels lead 2-0 on the Winnetah scoreboard. Peart will serve once again for the Rebels. Down the line again, picking on Jenkins. Her pass not great, but the Tigers keep it in the air and bump it over the net. Now Cornea will set it up here to that far side. That right side, Lamborn hammers it. It's blocked, and it bounces clear over to the Tiger bench. And so the Rebels lead 3-0 on the Winnetah scoreboard. Peart will go back to serve once again for Rich High. Her serve to Lazenby. The pass goes back over the net. Huffner just can't get up to it quite. And Lamborn goes to a knee to keep it alive, but passes it over to the Tiger bench, and they'll get their first point of the second set. The Rebels lead 3-1 on the Winnetah scoreboard. And in the second set, now the Tabiona Tigers will serve. Rebels get it back over. Not a great attack. Now the Tigers will set it up for Lazenby, and it's blocked by Huffner. So the Rebels get the point there and lead 4-1 on the Winnetah scoreboard, and Rich will get the serve back as Huffner goes back to serve from the left side. Huffner, nice floater serve. Lazenby passes up front. They'll set it up for Lazenby. Tipped. Lamborn blocks it back, and the Rebels will push, or the Tigers will push it. Now the Rebels will set it up again for Lamborn. Hammers it, but long. Just a bit long here on the back row. Boy, she hit that hard. But just a bit long. So 4-2. Rebel lead cut in half. And it's 4-2 on the Winnetah scoreboard. Lazenby back here to serve, going straight away from us. Serves toward the back left corner, and Huffner will pass. Now Peart gets the hit. It's tipped at the line, or at the net, and into the corner. A dive by Barnick, but she can't get to it, and the Rebels lead 5-2 on the Winnetah scoreboard. Hopkins checks in at the front row, and Brown out for the Rebels. Here's Cornea with the serve. Lazenby passes out of bounds, but the Tigers are there, and they'll keep it alive, keep it in the air. Huffner pass. Here's the set. Cornea sets it up. The play of the hammer by Lamborn. It's blocked out of bounds by the Lady Tigers, and the Rebels lead 6-2 on the Winnetah scoreboard. Lamborn has so many different attacks she can do. That one, she just powers it to the blockers and hopes that they'll misplay it, which they do. Here's the set by the Tigers, and they'll just bump it over. Now the Rebels will set it up. Peart now to Cornea, and Lamborn hammers it, but this time the blockers have their hands facing the right direction. They block it back to the Rebels side of the court inbounds, and the Tigers get the point. Rebels lead 6-3 on the Winnetah scoreboard after that one. And back here to serve now. I believe it's Jordanelle Jenkins. Yeah, she's coming up with a running jump serve. It's a good, strong serve. Huffner's there. Pass up high. Cornea will set it up for Lamborn. The push down the other side of the net. She's on the right side. She just clears the net and pushes it to this left side, the north side of the court. Finds the floor. A dive by Barnick. She can't get underneath it, and the Rebels lead 7-3. Here's Lamborn with the jump serve. Wagner can't get it. She shanks it into the stands, and the Rebels lead 8-3 on the Winnetah scoreboard, with Lamborn going back to serve again. Lamborn from the left side comes straight to the back row, and Lazenby shanks it back to the back wall, and Coach Lazenby is going to take a timeout. Rebels lead 9-3 on the Winnetah scoreboard, and it's the second set. Rebels won the first one 25-14. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3, and watch it online at kadqradio.com.
Throughout our lives, there are times we may need skilled rehabilitation and nursing care or home health and hospice care. Rocky Mountain Care has been providing these services since 1990. Our skilled staff and specialized programs will meet your loved one's needs. Our staff is dedicated to a high-quality outcome for each of our patients and residents. When you or someone you love needs these professional services, think of Rocky Mountain Care. Simply the best care. www.rmcare.com.
Rebels leading 9-3 on the Winnetitle scoreboard. Set number 2 here at Tabiona. And Cammie Lamborn serving. Rebels on the far side serving straight toward us. Lazenby's pass up high, but this time kept in play, so the Tigers will push it over. Rebels are there. Cornea will set it up for Reagan Lloyd, who just tips it over the blockers. The pass goes back over the net, and now we have a player in the net. They're going to say it was, I believe they're going to say it was Barnek in the net and give Rebels the point, leading 10-3 now on the Winnetitle scoreboard. Here's Lamborn again. Pass goes way up into up high in the rafters, and the Tigers will get it over the net, though. Rebels will set it up for Peart. Big hit. The pass kept alive, and they keep it in the air. Now the hit by Wagner, and it's tipped back over. The Rebels will now set it up. Hopkins will set it up for Peart. Blocked back to the Rebels. Now Peart will push it up high, and Huffner will just push it over the net. Rebels keep it in the air. Now the Tigers will set it up for Barnek. Big hit blocked by the Rebels, but blocked up high and out of bounds. And the point goes to the Tigers, who've cut the lead down to 6. It's 10-4, Rebels with the lead on the Winnetitle scoreboard. And Rhodes will go back to serve. Rhodes just gets it over the net. It skips across the top. Lamborn is there. Now Peart hits it down the line. Tigers get it, keep it in the air. Now Huffner to Cornea. Now they'll set it up for Peart down the line, trying to just tip it over and find that hole, but she doesn't quite get it over the net. And the Rebels' lead is cut to 5, 10-5 on the Winnetitle scoreboard. Here's Rhodes. Rhodes, the serve. Reagan Lloyd is there. Rebels set it up for Peart. It's blocked and then hit back over. Nice pancake by Lamborn to keep it alive, but the third hit by Peart on a dive is into the stands, and it's 10-6 on the Winnetitle scoreboard. The Tigers with 3 straight points on a 3-0 run with Rhodes serving. And she's back to serve once again, serving straight away. And shanked by the Rebel pass into the stands. And it's 4 straight points for the Tigers. 10-7 on the Winnetitle scoreboard. Tigers clawing back into this one. Trailed 10-3, now it's 10-7. Here's Rhodes. Again, whoa, this serve is way long. One bouncing onto the stage on that east side of the gym. And it's 11-7. Rebels with the lead on the Winnetitle scoreboard. Back to serve goes Reagan Lloyd. Wagner passes. They'll set it up for Barnek. Barnek trying to push it into the corner, but Lamborn is there. Pass up front. Cornea will set for Peart. Big hit. Lazenby got a hand on it, but nothing worth controlling. And it's 12-7. Rebels with the lead on the Winnetitle scoreboard. Lloyd back to serve again for the Rebels. Huffner, Peart, and Hopkin on the front row, and the serve a bit long. That'll give the point to the Tigers. And it's 12-8 on the Winnetitle scoreboard. Wagner back here to serve on this left side. Serving straight away from us. You see the ball enter the screen on KADQradio.com. Lloyd goes down. Now Lamborn, the hit, skips across the net. Tigers keep it in the air, and they'll bump it over. McCall Giles hits it into the corner, and I don't know if Hopkins thought Cornea was going to come up and get it, but the Rebels let it fall to the floor, and it's 12-9 on the Winnetitle scoreboard. We were at about this point when the Rebels turned on the heat and ran away with it in set 1. Here's the set for Peart, the big hit, passed up front, right at the net. Hoffner goes up high and tips it to the floor, and the Rebels lead 13-9 on the Winnetitle scoreboard. Something Huffner does so well there at the net. Great awareness of where the ball is and where it's coming over. Here's Hopkin back to serve for the Rebels. Pass goes up high. Lazenby pushes, and Peart dives, but her bump goes into the stands, and it's 13-10 on the Winnetitle scoreboard, and that's some good court vision there by the Tigers to push it into that hole where the Rebels weren't. Peart, a great effort just to even get a hand on it. Here's Rebels setting it up for Huffner. Huffner finds the hole. Beautiful hit. Boy, she saw the court well there as Barnek was just to the right. Wagner was just a bit to the left, and Huffner found the seam. And it's 14-10. Rebels the lead on the Winnetitle scoreboard as Peart serves. The pass right in the net, but Giles able to set it up back toward her teammates. Now the Rebels will set it up. Huffner the hit, kept in the air, but not very well. It was Wagner to Barnek to Wagner, and they all three of those hits were just barely enough for the other one to just tip it back up. Here's the set by Peart, hits the net, rolls over the top to the floor, and the Rebels lead 16-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. Peart back to serve again, and just clears the net. Lazenby's hit goes straight up, hits the basketball hoop that's right above her. It's just out of the screen at KADQradio.com. The ball hits the bottom of the backboard, straight back to the floor, and the Rebels lead 17-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. Now Wagner dives to try and get underneath it on that beautiful serve by Peart. She can't get under it, and the Rebels lead 18-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. It's a 5-0 run for the Rebels, and we got a timeout on the floor. Coach Lazenby wants to talk about it for a minute. We'll take a quick timeout as well and be back in 30 seconds on a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ-FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
For over 100 years, Union Telephone has been providing phone service to small communities, places the big guys simply ignored. We were helping our neighbors stay connected to the rest of the country. Times have changed and technology has evolved. Union has been there the entire way. Today, we still keep people connected in more ways and places than ever before. Union Wireless, treating you like a neighbor, not a number.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ and online at KADQradio.com. Peart serving straight toward us, and it's bumped up high into the air to the back wall. The Tigers can't get there after that serve receive goes way off target, and the Rebels lead 19-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels now on a 6-0 run here, as it was 13-10. Here's the set for Jenkins. Nope, this one into the net. 2 hits on the set, and the Rebels now lead 20-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. Starting to run away with this one in set 2. Rebels took the first set 25-14, and here in set 2, Peart's serve is passed into the score table. You may have, if you're watching online at KADQradio.com, about 5 of the Tigers rushed over that way. None of them could get there, and the Rebels lead 21-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. Peart, the pass goes way back to the corner, and Rhodes bumped toward the front. Again, hits off that underside of the backboard, that practice basketball backboard that's up high in the rafters, and then bounces straight to the floor, and the Rebels lead now 22-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. Back the other way, the Tigers able to keep it alive, get it over the net. Now the Rebels will set it up for Lamborn, who hammers it home. The big kill for Lamborn. Boy, it's hard to follow that ball when she hammers it, and the Rebels lead 23-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. Peart serving once again. Rebels on a 10-0 run. Here's the pass. It goes up high and off the top of the backboard, then back down, and the Tigers keep it alive. They get it over the net. Cornea will set it up for Lamborn, who pushes it into the hole. It finds the floor, and the Rebels lead 24-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. It's set point here for the Rich Lady Rebels in set number 2 against the Tabiona Tigers. Here's Peart. Pass up front. Good set for Giles. Now the pass, and Jenkins' hit is blocked by Lamborn. The Tigers trying to keep it in the air, but they can't do it, and the Rebels win 25-10 in set 2 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels leading 2-0 in this match, and it's Rebels with a big lead right now, 25-10 in the second set, dominating. Rebels went on a 12-0 run to close out that second set here and get the victory in set number 2. Rebels won the first set 25-14, and again, second set 25-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. Well, we'll take a quick break, and we will be back with more volleyball, more Rich Rebel volleyball action here on KADQ-FM. It's a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel volleyball on KADQ-FM 98.3, and you can watch these matches online at KADQradio.com.
Long lines and slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge at Cowboy Motor Company. Strength, honesty, and integrity. The Cowboy way. Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
Well, today's starting lineups have been brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. The beginning serve of each set is brought to you by the station in Randolph. And right now, if you're looking at KADQRadio.com on our Hot Shot Cam, brought to you by Perry Brothers Trucking and Ellingford Brothers Incorporated, you see the Rebels leading 2-0 in this match. They won the first set 25-14, 25-10 on the Unitado scoreboard, huddled up there, and now they break the huddle and head out onto the floor. Meanwhile, the Tabiona Tigers on the far side of the court still huddled up there, trying to talk about what they can do to turn things around in this third and upcoming set. Earlier this afternoon, the Rich Rebel freshman sophomore team beat Tabiona 3-0. 25-9, 25-10, and 15-3. It was a dominating effort by the freshman team. Then the JVs came out, and they won the first two sets pretty easily, 25-15, 25-15. And that's after that, though, is when the Tabiona turned it on, and they won set 3, 16-14 in a real close one. And actually, in that third set in the JV match, the Rebels led, I believe it was 13-5. When Tabiona just stormed back into it, took the lead, and got the win 16-14. But then the Rebels won in the fourth set in a close one, 17-16. It was a nail biter. The Rebels won and won the match 3-1. Here in the varsity match, Rebels with a 2-0 lead. Rebels won the first set 25-14. They won the second set 25-10. And set number 3 is coming up here in just a bit. I want to remind you we've got more Rich Rebel volleyball coming up here tonight on KADQ as the Rebels travel to Duchesne. We'll be right there with them just half an hour down the road from here in Tabiona, and the Rebels will be at Duchesne. The JV or the freshman match is at 5, JV's at 6, varsity scheduled for 7, so we'll have pregame at 6:45 right here on KADQ as the Rebels play against Duchesne. Directly after that, the Rebels will take on Union, and we'll have that match for you. It'll be a doubleheader tonight here on KADQ. So make sure to tune in for that this evening right here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQRadio.com. Set number 3 here underway. The beginning serve brought to you by the station in Randolph. Rebels set it up for Ellen Peart, who hits it a bit long, and she's coming out just a little bit flat. She's kind of laughing at herself. I think she knows she didn't quite give the effort she needed to on that one, and the Tigers lead 1-0 on the Unitado scoreboard. Cornea sets it up for Huffner, and it's blocked right back to her. Nice play by Jenkins of the Lady Tigers, who now lead 2-0 on the Unitado scoreboard. There's Giles back to serve, that high floater serve. Cornea sets it up, back row to Lamborn. Push across, Giles is there, pass up front, they'll set it for Rhodes. A nice job by Peart to get over and keep it up in the air for the Rebels. Set for Huffner, who hits it. Tigers are there, and they'll set it up for Barneck. Big hit, blocked by Huffner, but out of bounds. Point will go to the Tigers, who now lead 3-0 on the Unitado scoreboard in set 3. Rebels took the first two sets, 25-14, 25-10, but trail 3-0 here in set 3. Pass by Peart into the net. Now the Rebels just struggling. Jenkins tipped it back. Rebels kept it in the air, but Huffner's hit blocked right back down by Jenkins. And it's 4-0 Tigers on the Unitado scoreboard. Here's Giles once again. Lloyd passes to Cornea. Cornea sets it up for Peart. The push to the back row. Lazenby is there. Now they'll set it up, and Barneck will hit it to the corner. Rebels, Cornea set it up for Peart. Peart, the big hit on the angle, and she hammers it home. Rebels on the scoreboard, trailing 4-1 on the Unitado scoreboard here in set 3. Rebels won the first two sets, 25-14 and 25-10. Peart back to serve now, the running jump serve. Back row to Lazenby, pass up high. Barneck will set it up, and here's the hit. Nice job by Lloyd to keep it alive, but her pass into the net. Jenkins goes up and hammers it down, and the lead is now 5-1 for the Lady Tigers on the Unitado scoreboard. They are coming out fired up. This is do or die time for them as the Rebels lead 2-0 in the match. Here's Barneck. And Rebels will set it up for Lamborn on the left side. Hammered into the blockers. They've got their hands angled right, but I don't know if they were just a little bit too far from the net. It's hammered to the floor. Tipped off the blockers to the floor, and the Rebels are now down 5-2 on the Unitado scoreboard. Weston comes in to serve for the Rebels. And gets a nice serve off. Tigers can't handle it, and it's 5-3 on the Unitado scoreboard. Rebels with the trailing by 2. Lamborn the pass, and Cornea will set it up for Lloyd. Lloyd pushes it over. Tigers are there. They'll set it up, but it's back into the net, and Lloyd just goes up and hits it down. And it's a 1-point match, or a 1-point set, 5-4. Rebels trail on the Uinetado scoreboard as Weston comes back to serve once again for the Rebels. And it's passed up high. Now Brown is there. It's as the Tigers got it over the net. They'll set it up for Lamborn, and it's blocked back, but to the floor on the side of the Tigers, and we're tied at 5. So the Rebels were down 4-0. They've gone on a 5-1 run, and we're tied at 5. And Whitley Weston back to serve again for the Rebels. Good serve. Tigers have a hard time controlling it. They do get it up over the net as they kept it in the air. Now Cornea will set it up for Lamborn. It's hit, blocked right back down to the floor. That's the way the blockers want things to work for Tabiona. And it's 6-5. Rebels trail by 1 on the Uinetado scoreboard. Back to serve goes Jordan L. Jenkins. Jenkins running jump serve from the left side, comes to this side. Peart will pass it up front. Cornea will set it up for Lamborn. Lamborn the push. Oh, my goodness. Boy, she's been hammering away, and now she just tips it over the top of the blockers. And they're coming up. I mean, they are right in the net to block, and then she just pushes it right over the top of them. Rebels are tied at 6. Cornea's serve. Tigers will set it up. Here's the hit by Wagner, and a nice job. She saw Peart heading to her left. She hits it to Peart's right, and it finds the floor. Not a real powerful hit, but the positioning was perfect. And the Tigers lead 7-6 on the Uinetado scoreboard as Jenkins goes to serve once again. No, that's Rhodes back there serving. Cornea in the net with the set back there for Lamborn. Tigers set it up for Lazenby, whose hit goes into the net. She punches the ball after one bounce on the floor. In frustration, she punches it. And we're tied at 7 on the Uinetado scoreboard as Cornea back to serve. Lamborn back to serve for the Rebels. Long. Wow, she served that way long. If I remember the last time she served, it went into the net. This time she overcompensates. And it's 8-7. Lady Tigers with the lead on the Uinetado scoreboard. As Wagner goes back to serve. Rebels will set it up for Peart. Peart, big hit, tipped at the net. And the Tigers will keep it alive. Not a great set, but they'll push it over in a nice play by Barnett. She pushed it across the angle where none of the Rebels were. Found that hole in the defense, and it's 9-7 Tabiona on the Uinetado scoreboard. Wagner again the serve. Lamborn passes to Cornea, who sets it up for Lloyd. Lloyd's hit blocked by Lazenby and just out of bounds on the left side of the floor. It came down on the Rebels side of the net and just barely out of bounds. So the Rebels get the point, trail by 1. Reagan Lloyd back to serve from this left side. Tigers will set it up. Here's the hit, tipped by the Rebel blockers. Lamborn dives to try and keep it in the air. She does, but her pass goes into the net, falls back to the Rebel side of the floor, and it's 10-8. Lady Tigers with the lead on the Uinetado scoreboard. Back to serve goes Kennedy Lazenby. Lazenby from straight away. High serve, and Lloyd lets it go at the last second, and it's long. A good decision by Lloyd there. And it's a 1-point set. 10-9. Rebels down by 1 as Emily Hopkin back to serve now for Rich. Serve is long, and the Rebels, that's their second or third missed serve in this third set. Rebels back down by 2, 11-9, as Lilia Brown checks in. And it should be a serve. The ball boy over there gave the ball to Brown, thinking it was her serve, but it's and Brown just rolled it back over to Giles for her to serve. Tabiona. Cornea sets it up back row for Lamborn, who hits it into the net. And it's 12-9 on the Uinetado scoreboard. Rebels got easy wins in the first 2 sets, 25-14, 25-10 on the Uinetado scoreboard, and now they're kind of playing a little bit lazy here in third set. Here's the serve. Lamborn passes up front. Cornea will set it up for Peart. Big hit, blocked out of bounds by Rhodes, and the Rebels get the point. Trailed 12-10 on the Uinetado scoreboard. Peart back to serve now for Rich High. Here's Peart, that running jump serve. Lazenby gets it. It might have been long, but she tipped it. Now the Tigers with a carry, and the Rebels will get the point there. So it's 12-11. Pass by Lazenby goes back over the net after the serve. Rebels now will set it up for Lamborn, who just tips it, and again another carry. It found the floor anyway, so it would have been a Rebel point either way. And we're tied at 12 on the Uinta scoreboard with Peart back to serve again. Here's Ellen Peart. Wagner goes down to keep it in the air. Now they'll set it up. Wagner the hit, and Lloyd, it's a hit to the corner. Lamborn keeps it in the air, and then Peart tries to bump it over but can't quite get there. Great hustle from the Rebels, but they can't quite get it over the net. And it's 13-12, Lady Tigers with the lead. Here's Barnek with the serve. Comes to this side to Peart. Peart passes up front. Cornea will set for Lamborn. Lamborn the push toward the corner. A diving play by Barnek to keep it in the air, but that bump goes into the net, and we're tied again now at 13 on the Uinta scoreboard. Whitley Weston checks back in, and she'll serve for the Rebels from the right side. Weston serve. Barnek passes up front. They'll set for Wagner, the big hit. She finds the seam between Peart and Weston, and the Tigers back on top, 14-13 on the Uinta scoreboard. Jenkins back to serve now for Tabiona, who's already scored as many points as they did in that first set. They only scored 10 in the second set. Here's Peart, the pass up front. Cornea will set to the middle for Lloyd. Lloyd the hit. Nice job, but dug down by Giles. Now the Tigers will set it up. Dive by Weston to keep it alive. Then Lamborn dives. It hits the bottom of the backboard and down straight to the floor. We saw that backboard give Tigers trouble for about 3 or 4 points in that second set. Now it gives the Rebels some trouble. And the Tigers lead 15-13 on the Uinta scoreboard. Peart the pass to the back, and Brown will pass it up front. Now Cornea just dumps it over. Rebels keep it. Tigers get it back over. Now the Rebels will set it up for Lamborn. The big hit right in the front of the defense. She just hammered that down. A great angle. Barnek couldn't even get close to it, and the Rebels cut the lead to 1. 15-14 on the Uinta scoreboard as Andy Cornea goes back to serve. Brown checks out. Hopkins in. And Cornea's serve is passed backwards. The Tigers will scramble, and they will keep it in the air and get it over the net. Now Hopkins will set it up for Lamborn, the tip, and it's kept alive. A great pancake play by Barnek to get her hand underneath it. They get it over the net. Now Lamborn again the hit, and again Wagner's there to keep it alive. Now the set for Wagner. Lamborn sees a hole, pushes it into the corner, but a dive by Barnek to keep it alive, and then the bump over the net by Lazenby is long, and the Rebels have tied it up again. We're tied now at 15 on the Uinta scoreboard. Boy, what a great rally by both teams there. Here's Cornea. The floater serve, just a bit long. And the Tigers back on top, 16-15 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels won sets 1 and 2, 25-14, 25-10 respectively on the Uinta scoreboard. Having a little more trouble here in set 3 as the Tigers have come alive. Here's Weston, the pass up front after the serve. Rebels will set it up for Peart on the back row. Peart the big hit, but the Tigers are there. Now they'll set it for Lazenby. Lazenby's hit. Peart is there. Cornea will set it up cross court for Lamborn. Big hit. She hammers it into the blocker. Lazenby tips it backwards. And we're tied at 16 as that tip went clear back out of bounds deep. And the Rebels have tied it up on the Uinta scoreboard with Lamborn back to serve. This time a great serve. Wagner now to Lazenby with the hit. Rebels are there. Nice pass by Lamborn. Rebels will set it for Peart. Big hit to the back row. It goes high, almost into the rafters. Now Lazenby pushes it down the line of the net. It's off the top of the net and dies right to the floor. And it's 17-16 Tigers with the lead on the Uinta scoreboard in set number 3. Rebels won the first 2 sets fairly easily, but trail by 1 in set 3. Cornea sets it up for Peart. Peart, the big hit, finds the seam between Jenkins and Wagner. And Peart, the kill, hammers it home at 17-17 with Reagan Lloyd back to serve. Puts Peart, Huffner, and Hopkins on the front row. Lazenby passes up front. Giles will set it up for Wagner. Push down the line. Rebels are there, down the net. They'll set it up for Peart. Hit to the back corner. Tigers are there, and they'll get it over by Barnek with the bump. Now the pass up front. Cornea sets it up the far side for Peart. Big hit. She just hammers it right at Rhodes, and Rhodes shanks it to the back side. Back deep and out of bounds, and the Rebels on top, 18-17. Their first lead of this third set, if I'm correct. Here's the set, the serve by Lloyd, and the serve receive is shanked, and the Rebels now lead by 2, 19-17 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels have tied it up several times in this set, but they're just barely now taking their first lead, and they're up by 2. Tigers will set it up. Huffner blocks the hit at the net by Lazenby. They'll get it back and keep it in the air. Now the Rebels will set it up, and here's the big hit. This one goes way up into the stand, up into the rafters, and somehow the Tigers able to keep it alive. Lamborn passes up front. Cornea, the set for Huffner. Tigers are there. They'll keep it in the air. Now they'll set it up for Barnek. Barnek off her back foot, hits from out of bounds. Rebels keep it in the air. Now Peart will just push it over the top. The pass goes back over, and Lamborn will push it up, pass it up to Cornea. Cornea set for Peart. Peart hammers it home. Found that seam between Rhodes and Barnek, or between Rhodes and Wagner, and the Rebels lead 20-17 on the Uinta scoreboard. Big rally there for the Rebels. They were down, and now they're back on top with a 3-point lead on the Uinta scoreboard. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ-FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. A timeout on the floor. We'll take a quick one as well and be right back.
It's time for the pre-winter checkup special.
Big O Tires, we go the extra mile, revving up the service to make you smile. We're in the business of customer pleasing, all the right service for all the right reasons.
Receive an oil change, 22-point inspection, brake check, and tire rotation for just $59.99.
Extra miles, the way we go, we got you covered at Big O.
Big O Tires in Evanston, 607 Cheyenne Drive.
Rebels on a 5-1 run here, and Reagan Lloyd to serve with a 20-17 lead on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels with 3 blockers as Lazenby tries to just power it through, and the Rebels block it back to the floor and lead 21-17 on the Uinta scoreboard. Lloyd serves across the angle. Barnek, the pass up high. Now they'll set it up for Barnek, who pushes it toward the corner. Lloyd is there. Now the Rebels will set it up for Peart. The hit tipped by Lazenby, but tipped straight to the floor, and the Rebels lead 22-17 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels lead 2-0 in this match. They won the first 2 sets 25-14, 25-10, and now ahead 22-17. Lloyd's serve is received by Wagner, but shanked out toward the bleachers. And the Rebels lead 23-17 on the Uinta scoreboard. And we have another timeout on the floor. Coach Lazenby wants a quick talk. We're listening to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ-FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
Find out how Chevy trucks stack up against all of the other major brand name trucks in their class. Confirm what you know or surprise yourself. Just log on to CastleRockChevy.com. Right now you can drive any new Chevy truck off the lot for just 1% over factory invoice OAC, and ask about other rebates and offers that apply.
We're Castle Rock.
Like us on Facebook, Castle Rock Chevy in Evanston, CastleRockChevy.com.
Well, the Rebels trailed most of this third set, and then we've had 5 ties, and now they're ahead 23-17 on the Uinta scoreboard. Lloyd, the serve. Now the Tigers will set it up. It's blocked by Huffner and to the floor as Barnek goes under the line or over the line to try and keep it in the air. Now the Rebels a set and match point at 24-17 on the Uinta scoreboard. Lloyd to serve from the left side, going straight away from us to the back row, and Shank misplayed by number 20, Jordan L. Jenkins, and the Rebels win 25-17 and win this match 3-0 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels won 25-14, 25-10, and 25-17 to win this match, and a 3-0 victory for the Rebels here at Tabiona High School. Stay tuned. Coming up, we'll recap the match. We'll have our post-game show. We'll recap set by set and visit with head coach Cindy Stewart. This is a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ-FM 98.3. And you can watch these matches online at KADQradio.com.
Precious time cannot be recovered once lost, said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time driving extra miles when the dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth and want a full and perfect smile? Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is oral surgeon A.J. Stosich inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307-789-5608. Save your precious time.
Throughout our lives, there are times we may need skilled rehabilitation and nursing care or home health and hospice care. Rocky Mountain Care has been providing these services since 1990. Our skilled staff and specialized programs will meet your loved one's needs. Our staff is dedicated to a high-quality outcome for each of our patients and residents. When you or someone you love needs these professional services, think of Rocky Mountain Care. Simply the best care. www.rmcare.com.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ-FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. Rich Rebels with a 3-0 victory over the Tabiona Tigers here this afternoon at Tabiona High School. Rebels won the first set 25-14 and won the second set 25-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. A little bit more trouble in that third set. The Rebels trailed until they made a big comeback and scored. They went on a 10-1 run at the end of that third set to win 25-17 on the Uinta scoreboard. And it was kind of a similar situation in the first set. The Rebels it was real tight. Tabiona kept it close until it was 9-8. Rebels had a 1-point lead, and then from that point on, the Rebels just turned on the Jets and went on a 16-6 run to get the victory, 25-14 on the Uinta scoreboard. Second set, a similar story. It was real close, and in fact, the Rebels were up by just a couple of points until they led 13-10 and then went on a 12-0 run to close out the second set and win the second set 25-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. Third set, a different story. The Rebels trailed most of the way. Tabiona went on a 4-0 run to start the set. Rebels kind of bounced back in or jumped back into it. We were tied at 5, then tied at 6, went back and forth a little bit. We were tied at 13, tied at 15, and then tied at 17. Rebels went from that point on, they went on an 8-0 run, and they closed that third set with a 10-1 run to get the victory, 25-17 on the Uinta scoreboard, and the Rebels win in 3 sets, 3-0 over the Tabiona Tigers here at Tabiona High School. And I see Coach Stewart now. She just gave me the word that she's coming up to join me for our post-game interview. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with our interview with Cindy Stewart, head coach of the Rich High Lady Rebels. We're back in just a bit. You're listening to the post-game show. Again, final score on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels win 25-14, 25-10, and 25-17, and win 3-0. This is a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ-FM 98.3 and watch it online at KADQradio.com.
For over 100 years, Union Telephone has been providing phone service to small communities, places the big guys simply ignored. We were helping our neighbors stay connected to the rest of the country. Times have changed and technology has evolved. Union has been there the entire way. Today, we still keep people connected in more ways and places than ever before. Union Wireless, treating you like a neighbor, not a number.
Long lines and slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge at Cowboy Motor Company. Strength, honesty, and integrity. The Cowboy way. Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. And now joining me, Coach Cindy Stewart. And, Coach, thanks for coming up to chat with us after this match. Congratulations on the win in that first in that match.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Am I on?
Yeah, you're good.
It was good because they played with us, so it was really good. It was a fun little match, and I thought they did well.
They were in there in the first and second sets. They were real close until you guys really pulled away about midway through each of those first two sets.
Yeah, they played hard really in the beginning. They played really hard, and then I think when we come at them, they maybe that's inexperience or what. But we didn't pass well. We served really well, and their number 20 could serve. And we could not. We couldn't pass her ball. She's a good little server, and then their little Lazenby girl, she passes really well. So they got a lot of opportunities to come back at us.
How about that third set? You guys were down for most of that third set and kind of fought back into it and got the win. Again, it was a similar story where they played well early and you guys fought back later on.
And we missed three serves in a row, and that always gets you right down, and does the girls too. And we didn't pass very well. We were trying to let our goal be 60% this weekend, and so we got to do really well the next 3 games if that's going to happen.
To get up to 60%.
Yeah.
So next up, a little bit later on this evening, you're going to be at. You guys beat Duchesne a couple of weeks ago there at Rich, and it was. Do you remember that well?
I do, and they're much improved. They're all much improved, so it's just so much fun to have some rallies and get to run something. We ran a different offense today, so that.
Did you go back to the 6-2?
The 5-1. We ran the 6-2.
Okay.
We ran it, and we haven't ran 5-1 all year, so that was fun to do it again. So.
Okay. Well, is there anything in particular that sticks out you think that the girls or individuals did well this afternoon?
Well, I thought Ellen Peart was amazing on her serve. She had like 6 or 7 aces. And Reagan Lord in the end, she had 3 or 4 aces. Our serving was better. However, we did miss the 3 serves, which gives them the momentum.
Right.
And we're just going to have to really focus on our passing. If we pass, we can attack. Kemi can kill that ball. She can her and Ellen both swing so hard.
I see that. And it was such a contrast. You see the JV playing, and that was a great match for JV. In the JV match, but then you see the varsity come out and start to warm up. And it's
about that one, so.
Well, good. All right. Well, good luck this afternoon, and congratulations on the win against Tabiona.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming to talk with us.
Thanks for coming up here. Following us.
It's a fun time. It's a pleasure. Thank you, Coach. All right. You've been listening to Coach Cindy Stewart, head coach of the Rich High Rebels here on KADQ, and that's our interview with Coach Cindy Stewart as the Rebels get to win 3-0 on the Winnetonka scoreboard. 25-14, 25-10, and 25-17 over the Tabiona Lady Tigers. Stay tuned. We'll take a look ahead at what's in store the rest of today and tomorrow for the Rebels, and coming up in the next week, what the Rebels have coming up. So stay tuned. We'll be back with more on a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
It's time for the pre-winter checkup special.
Big O Tires, we go the extra mile, revving up the service to make you smile. We're in the business of customer pleasing, all the right service for all the right reasons.
Receive an oil change, 22-point inspection, brake check, and tire rotation for just $59.99. Big O Tires in Evanston, 607 Cheyenne Drive.
Find out how Chevy trucks stack up against all of the other major brand name trucks in their class. Confirm what you know or surprise yourself. Just log on to CastleRockChevy.com. Right now you can drive any new Chevy truck off the lot for just 1% over factory invoice OAC, and ask about other rebates and offers that apply.
We're Castle Rock.
Like us on Facebook, Castle Rock Chevy in Evanston, CastleRockChevy.com.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. You're listening to the post-game show, and we're going to take a look now ahead at what's in store, what the Rebels have coming up in the coming days and into next week. And for the Rebel volleyball team, that's what's next is the Lady Rebels at Duchesne, and that's tonight. Freshman match is at 5 o'clock. The JVs will be scheduled to start at 6. Varsity scheduled to start at 7 o'clock. So we'll have that match. That's just down the road here from Tabiona where we are now. So we'll travel over to Duchesne and bring you pregame coverage starting at 6:45 with opening serve, beginning serve brought to you by the station in Randolph will be at 7, or scheduled for 7 o'clock. We'll see if they keep on schedule. But we will start our pregame at 6:45 this evening as the Rebels play at Duchesne. And then directly after that, I'm hoping that we can just go straight from Duchesne into Union. I don't think we'll have much of a break between those two matches, as the Rebels will play against Union High School, against the Cougars at Duchesne. That's scheduled for 8:30, but I imagine they'll just go right from that Duchesne match. They'll let Union have a few minutes to warm up, and then they'll start that match against Union. And we'll just keep the coverage right here this evening. Again, Rebels at Duchesne, pregame at 6:45, and then first serve scheduled for 7 o'clock against Union right after that. Now, the Rebels are also back at it tomorrow afternoon against Manila. The JV match is scheduled for 11 o'clock, varsity at 12:15. So we'll have our pre-match coverage beginning at 12 noon tomorrow right here on KADQ. And then the match is scheduled to begin at 12:15 with the beginning serve. Now, the Lady Rebel volleyball team continues their season next week as well. Actually, tomorrow wraps up their region play, but then they continue the season next week. They have 2 more matches before the end of the regular season. They'll be at Mountain Crest on Thursday night, and we'll have the match right here on KADQ. First service scheduled for 7:30. Then next Friday, the Lady Rebels will play North Summit. They'll host North Summit, and that'll be right after the football game. Now, the Rebel football team hosts Diamond Ranch next Friday afternoon. We'll have the pregame at 3:20. Kickoff is at 4 p.m. next Friday. Then right after that, we'll just run into the gym and bring you all the action of the Lady Rebel volleyball team hosting North Summit. And that actually next Friday wraps up the regular season for both the football and volleyball teams. And then looking ahead a little bit, the Rebel volleyball team will be at the state tournament at Utah Valley University October 30th and 31st. Rebel football team will have a home game for the first round of the playoffs November 1st, and that'll be in the quarterfinal round of the state playoffs. So that's looking ahead. Looking ahead a little bit further into November, the Rich Rodeo Club has the Dixie Six beginning November 15th. And, of course, the Rich Royal basketball just around the corner. Hard to believe it's almost basketball season, but the Rich Middle School Royal basketball team tips off the season October 31st, hosting Kemmerer. So that's a Thursday night game or Thursday afternoon game for the Rich Royal basketball team. Oh, that's a look ahead at what's in store. Again, don't miss tonight, Rich Rebel volleyball at Duchesne, and then against Union at Duchesne. You're listening to the post-game show, and this has been the Rebel post-game show, a sports production and sports broadcast of Old West Media Incorporated and Cook Brothers Broadcasting. No portion of this production can be used or rebroadcast without express written consent of Old West Media Incorporated. Once again, our final score this afternoon on the Uinta scoreboard, Rebels win in 3 straight, 25-14, 25-10, 25-17. Join us later on this evening when Big O Tires of Evanston presents our Lady Rebels as they take on Duchesne. We'll be on the air with you at 6:45 for our pregame show. Until then, go Rebels.
You've been listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich High School Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ-FM 98.3 with video online at KADQradio.com. Today's match has been brought to you by these Rebel supporting businesses and individuals. Cowboy Motor Company, save a horse, buy from Cowboy. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Castle Rock Chevrolet, we are Chevrolet. Wyoming Dental Specialists. Rocky Mountain Care, simply the best care. Today's starting lineups were brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. The beginning serve of each set was brought to you by the station in Randolph, and your scoreboard sponsor for today's broadcast was Uinta Title. Thank you for listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich High Rebel Sports on KADQ-FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.